Just kidding.
Good evening. The July 20th board meeting of Colton Joint Unified School District is now in session. Mrs. Medina, would you take a roll call vote, please?
Mrs. Haro? Mr. Flores? Ms. Doreen Ojeda?
Present.
Mr. Fuentes?
Present.
Mrs. Flores?
Present. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This time we're at item 1.2, Pledge of Allegiance. Mrs. Haro, would you please lead us on approach?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. We have an interpreter out of Velador available for any Spanish-speaking persons.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Ada Velador y seré la intérprete esta noche y estoy ubicada en la parte de atrás. Gracias.
Thank you very much. Item 1.3, adoption of July 20th, 2023 agenda. Am I reading the title? She said you give it. Okay. But this one, I need the title.
Yeah, I got the title.
Okay. I will ask for a motion to adopt the agenda with the following amendments. Withdraw action item 5.32, approval of amendment 1 of the joint use agreement between Colton Joint Unified School District and the City of Colton for the lower playfields at McKinley Elementary School. Withdraw action item 5.39. Approval of agreement with True North Research Incorporated to conduct research and perform a feasibility study for a potential 2024 bond. Amend action item 5.51, approval of personnel employment and resignation separation. Addition of 1 certificated hourly substitute teacher. Addition of 1 classified change in hours and/or work year, instructional aide, state preschool. Addition of 8 classified regular staff, bus driver 5, instructional assistant bilingual, instructional assistant, speech language pathology assistant. Addition of 11 classified hourly and substitute custodians 5, substitute noon aide 2, substitute nutrition services worker 4. Addition of 2 classified change in position salary, attendance tech 2 to registrar, nutrition services worker 1 to instructional assistant. Amend closed session item 9.4, personnel public employee appointment discipline dismissal release, Government Code 54957. Addition of 1 classified management clinical therapist. Addition of 2 classified coaches, varsity football assistant boys 2. Do I have a motion, please?
So we're removing 5.32 and 5.39 and
Yes.
5.51, we're just adding to it. Is that correct? Or,
Yes, correct.
yes,
Oh, yeah, I see, yes.
okay.
So do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll say. I have a motion by Mrs. Haro and second by
Fuentes.
Mr. Fuentes.
Ms. Flores. Ms. Flores is the one who seconded.
Oh, I'm sorry. To adopt the agenda as recommended. I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any nay? Any abstentions? So on a motion by Board Member Haro and seconded by Board Member Mrs. Flores. And on a 6-0 vote, the board approved the agenda as recommended. Okay, thank you.
5-0.
5-0. I apologize. 5-0. I'm sorry.
It's okay. That's okay.
Item 2.1, introduction of new management. Dr. Dade, would you please come forward?
Good evening, Board President Thorian Ojeda, board members, Superintendent Dr. Miranda, and members of the audience. It is my pleasure to introduce new members to our management family. And I'd like to first start with our new assistant principal at Grand Terrace High School, Vanessa Ravenot. Right. So Vanessa has experience teaching 11th and 12th grade English. She was an SDC mild and moderate teacher at Grand Terrace High School. Most recently, she was an RSP teacher at Grand Terrace High School. She has been the SDC department chair for the last 2 years, co-chair of the special education department, and participating in committees such as PBIS, SPED Task Force, and supporting inclusive practices. Her fun facts. During her UCI days, I'm really intrigued by this, so you got to explain this to me later. She was a part of the Disney College Program internship and earned a doctorate degree from Disney University. So high five on that one, because I like that. I like that. She's the oldest of 5 siblings. Just became an auntie or an aunt last August of 2 nieces and has a nephew on the way. Was also a part of AmeriCorps and graduating from college to prepare to go to law school, and even took her LSAT on a whim, but ultimately realized that her calling was to be in education. And so, and as she put it, because I'm ad-libbing, education is her jam. And so we're so happy to have you here, Vanessa, and so happy for Grand Terrace and excited for all the great things that you're going to do. And I'd like to give you an opportunity to address the board.
All right. Good evening, Board President Thorian Ojeda, Board Member, Superintendent Dr. Miranda, and members of the audience. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm very excited to continue to serve the community of Grand Terrace and continue to advocate for all students. So thank you so much. I also my family came all the way from Palm Springs, so they are here with me today. But thank you so much for this opportunity to continue serving our community.
Congratulations. Can we have the family stand up? Family? We want to see who you are.
I'm so
There we
excited.
go.
You're
Yes.
so background. Let's say, I'm so excited about your special ed background. What a difference.
And one more round of applause for Vanessa, please. Next, I would like to introduce our new principal of Cooley Ranch Elementary, Veronica Godinez. Don't be afraid, you can stand up here. So Veronica comes to us with an extensive background in leadership. She's been principal, assistant principal, head of school, teacher on special assignment. She has served on several boards, Q to be one of them. She was nominated by Tom Torlakson, the superintendent of California, back in 2017 to be a part of the committee that the Computer Science Advisory Committee for the Department of Education, where they wrote the Golden Computer Science Standards. She was also a part, she's been a guest speaker, and she guest speak for coding plus math strengthen K through 5 math skills with computer science. And that was a collaboration between Oakland Unified and Cal Berkeley Graduation School of Education. She also was recognized by CALSA as Administrator of the Year of Region 5. And she's, like I said earlier, presented everywhere, Q, CALSA, all, to name a few. And so she is the oldest of her siblings. She's a first-generation college graduate. She is the mother of 3 beautiful, intelligent young women, Bianca, who is a linguist translator, Lillian, and then who's at Cal Poly, and Alexis, who is a junior band council member and a saxophonist. Awesome. She has served at all levels educationally. She is passionate about creating and implementing computer science, and other opportunities for students, and just it sounds like just a very innovative individual that we're so excited to have at Cooley Ranch, and just so excited for that community. And thank you for joining our team. And I'd like to give you a chance to address the board.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Board President, board members, Superintendent Dr. Frank Miranda. Super excited to be a part of Colton Joint Unified School District. I come with my heart on my sleeve, filled with so much passion, opportunities for all, and excited to start the adventurous ride and create magic at Cooley Ranch. I invite you all to come and visit and see the magic that will take place there. Tonight, I did bring my two oldest daughters, Bianca and Lillian, and the youngest is at band camp in the heat. But I'd like to, my mommy and my daddy are watching online in Torrance, so super excited to be a part of this family. So thank you. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
One more round of applause for Veronica, please. Next, I'd like to introduce us to our new principal of adult school, Angela Hatter. So Angela has been a principal for 14 years. She's chaired WAS accreditation visits. She's been a part of the CalPro Leadership Academy, and which is the California Adult Leadership Professional Development Project. She's been a presenter at numerous events, and she's a mentor as well. She's worked closely to design and integrate new educational programs approved by the California Department of Education for adult English language learners and business essentials. She's currently on the advisory board for OTAN, guess that acronym, Outreach Technical Assistance Network. And so that's a new one for me, but awesome. But fun facts, and you're going to have to help me with this. We might have to sing it together because I was in a band too. But she sang in a band with her colleagues and a former superintendent of Contra Costa County Office of Education, and the band's name was Contraband. So I think I heard of you guys on YouTube. I have to look that up. But she has been known to occasionally break out into song while at work. And so looking forward to coming to visit you and hearing some music. And I'm sure the students will enjoy that and staff. But I'd like to go ahead and give you a moment to address the board.
Good evening, Board President, board members, and Superintendent. I am very excited to be here today and honored that you've chosen me to help enhance your adult education programs here at Colton Joint Unified School District. I bring a lot of experience and a lot of ideas. I've already started sending some of those out to my supervisor as well as others within the district. So just really excited about the possibilities here. Thank you.
One more round of applause for Angela, please. And last but not least, I'd like to introduce our new Director of Classified Human Resources, Eric Enciso. So Eric has had a multitude of leadership roles as well. He was nutrition supervisor, nutrition director. One of my favorite fun facts is he used to work for Rent-A-Will, and he was the person that called when you didn't pay your bill. Never was me, but but that was awesome to hear about you. Some other fun facts: he's a proud father of 3, Camilla, Mateo, and Elias, and they're right here. And awesome family there. He once lost his fishing pole in Lake Mead to what he assumed was the world's largest fish. Known weakness is he has a weakness for fresh concha. Did I say that right? Concha? Okay. Thank you for the help on that. And it's the one with the pink stuff on the top, right? Oh, yeah, see, yeah, I know. I love those too. And his previous job, he commuted 65 miles, and his commute was about 3.5 hours. So he is happy to not be doing that anymore, and I'm sure more time with the family. And so just so happy to have Eric. He was a great leader in the nutrition services department. He was one of the first people I wanted to meet because I like to eat and I love the chocolate milk that they give the kids. But ultimately, when I first met him, you can hear the passion and the love that he had for not only students in the community, but his staff, and really looking forward to him bringing that over to human resources. So I'd like to give you a chance to address the board.
Good evening, Board President Tony Ojeda, board members. I want to call you just Superintendent Dr. Miranda and members of the audience. I do want to just say thank you so much. In 2017, you entrusted me with the Nutrition Services Department, and in doing so, you saved me from a very long commute and a lot of time away from my family. And I am forever in your debt for that. And so in this new adventure, I just want to let you know I will work my hardest to repay that debt. And I just thank you for entrusting me with this new role. And I do want to thank my smoking hot wife, Andrea, my very smart son, Elias, who can read in both English and Spanish and is going into 2nd grade. And our full of energy 3-year-old Mateo, and my princess of the house, Camila. So I know that I've told them I'm going to be spending a little bit more time away from them, but in the long run, it's going to be worth it. And so thank you for them, for their commitment.
Congratulations.
And one more round of applause for Eric, please. That concludes my presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Dade. Our next item is 2.2, Board of Education Self-Evaluation. On July 10th, 2023, the Board of Education participated in a self-evaluation process designed to improve the quality of governance for the benefit of the students of our district and our community. The self-evaluation was an excellent opportunity to have an open dialogue with my fellow board members to share our own values and beliefs and to hear others' perspectives, all while working towards the goal of becoming a stronger Board of Education. The self-evaluation concentrated on areas that have a direct impact on the board's effectiveness. The California School Boards Association board survey tool aligns with the association's professional governance standards, research, and good governance practice, and divided into 2 areas: 1, conditions of effective governance, and 2, board responsibilities. Conditions of effective governance included 1, board unity, 2, roles and responsibilities, 3, board culture, 4, board operations, 5, board meetings, and 6, board development, board development. Board responsibilities included 1, setting direction, 2, structure, 3, support, 4, accountability, and 5, community leadership. The forms were completed anonymously and submitted to the governance advisor for analysis. The governance workshop assists in clarifying roles and increasing effectiveness, extending understanding, and improving the quality of governance. The board holds, excuse me. The board holds a unified belief that all students can learn if provided the support and programs to meet their needs. That belief helps to shape the decisions of the board and leads to an effective and unified governance team that emphasizes collaboration and mutual trust. I would like to thank the board, along with the facilitator, Gary Rutherford, for participating in the self-evaluation process and for their commitment to building a strong board that supports the vision and goals for student success. Thank you, board. Okay, moving on to item 3.1. We don't have any public comments this evening, so we'll move on to item 4.1, 2021-2022 Measure G Citizens Bond Oversight Committee Annual Reports, Business Services Division. Assistant Superintendent Fromm, would you introduce our guest tonight?
Good evening. I would like to introduce two of our key members of our Citizens Oversight Committee. I would like to invite up to here Mr. Richard Beneznik and Gary Grosick, please.
Good evening, Board of Education Superintendent Miranda. My name is Gary Grosich. I'm the chair of the Measure G Bond Oversight Committee, and with me is one of our longtime and key members, Richard Banasek. He's also a member of the Measure G Bond Oversight Committee. I don't believe we have any other members in attendance this evening. Okay, seeing none, we'll move along. So I've personally been a resident of the city of Bloomington for 45 years, and Richard, I believe, lives in the Canyon.
Last 7 years.
7 years?
Family's been since 70.
Okay, and yeah, Richard's family, longtime members of the community. This committee is pleased to report on the review of Measure G expenditures and the results of the independent financial and performance audit for the reporting period of July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021, and also July 1st, 2021 through June 30th of 2022. The audit report found no instances of noncompliance and found that all generally accepted accounting principles were complied with. Most importantly, reported by Christy White and Associates, is that the bond revenue was spent only as specified in the voters' ballot and board resolution of Measure G. The annual report presents not only the outcome of the independent financial and performance audit, but also the activities of the committee over the reporting period. According to the committee's bylaws, the committee shall present to the board an annual written report which shall include the following. A statement indicating whether the district is in compliance with the requirements of Article 13A, Section 1B3 of the California Constitution, and B, a summary of the committee's proceedings and activities for the preceding year. Also, C, no funds were used for any teacher administrative salaries or other operating expenses prohibited by Article 13A, Section 1B3A of the California Constitution. The Colton Joint Unified School District Independent Citizens Bond Oversight Committee submits this annual report to the Board of Education in conformance with the standards of the Strict Accountability in Local Schools Construction Bond Act of 2000, also known as Proposition 39. The committee has worked hard to ensure that Measure G funds, taxpayers' money, is used only for those projects identified as part of the Measure G bond language, and to communicate how effectively this is carried out to the public. During the fiscal year of each reporting period, no funds were used for any teacher administrative salaries or other operating expenses prohibited by Article 13A of the California Constitution. Funds were used only for the permitted purposes of construction, rehabilitation, and replacement of school facilities for projects listed in the school board bond resolution. Bond revenue was only spent as specified in the voter's ballot and board resolution of Measure G. This concludes our presentation to the Board of Education. Richard and I are available for any questions that the board may have at this time. Before I wrap up, I'd also like to acknowledge the fine work of our staff members that work with us, particularly Owen Chang, Katie Orloff, Joanne Medina, and Casey Kubota in particular, and there was others that also participated in some of our meetings. Superintendent, thank you. And so it's a privilege and an honor to serve this school district on this particular committee. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Richard if he has any comments or he'd like to make.
I just want you to know that we very much appreciate the fact that you allowed us to participate in an oversight committee as such. It's very integral as, you know, citizens and people of the community represent as a balancer to ensure that the people's money is being spent. And so I just want you to know we did ask a number of very important questions, especially in the last one we were at, whether it was value engineering, sole sourcing, or stuff that we wanted to make sure that the money was being spent accordingly. So thank you very much for allowing us to be a part of that. And again, as Gary has said, we're here to answer any questions for you. Thank you.
Any questions? Dan?
Thank you, Board President. Well, first of all, thank you both for serving on the Bond Oversight Committee. It's a volunteer position. It's something that you choose to do with your time, and it is incredibly important. Doesn't get a lot of kudos, I think, because folks may not even know that it's happening, but you're there to help do exactly what you said. Keep an eye on the district and make sure that those tax dollars that we were very fortunate that the taxpayers approved are being put towards the uses that we stated they'd be used for. That oversight is important. Again, we take that serious when we have to go out and ask for additional dollars to build these facilities. We want to make sure that we're above reproach. And so I appreciate that oversight. Just curious if there's any takeaways that you wanted to share with us about what we've done. I know, Gary, in your case, you pretty much saw this from fruition. I remember we were active in those early days of Measure G, and we helped shepherd the process where it is today. And we've seen a number of things get done. So I'm curious to get both of your perspectives on that.
And Board Member Flores, I was actually on the Measure G Bond Committee from 2009 through 2013. So this is my second stint as a committee member. And I came back because I thought there was a lot of value in what the committee was doing for the district and also for the public in general. Thank you.
Again, I can't overemphasize the fact that oversight is a very important thing. And as you do your job and we try to help you do your job, we just want to be able to make sure that the people's money is being spent the way the people say it should be spent. And it's a great honor to be a part of that. And we are very much appreciative of that opportunity. Thank you.
Well, and again, if anything, I hope, and again, this is not necessarily a political position, but it's a position of trust that you've been placed in. And again, I hope you can share with those that would ask, hey, what did you guys do at the last bond? You know, if we ever have to go out again, you can attest to, hey, the district did the right thing. You know, the district is on top of it, our staff's on top of it, and the integrity is there. That's the most important thing, certainly. Gary, you had something to share?
Thank you. Thank you, Board Member. Also, I'd like to add to our colleagues that aren't here this evening, we've got a fine, well-rounded group of people that care about the district and this committee. And they've done outstanding work, all of them. They come from all different walks of life, and that's part of the proposition is you have to have certain members of certain types of communities that are involved, and we have that. So they just wanted to mention them because they're just as important as Richard and I as far as making this thing move forward. And there are questions, I can guarantee you, there are questions asked of Owen and the rest of the staff at every meeting. We delve into the subject matter and get our questions answered.
Great.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. And we have about $80 million in remaining bond capacity, is my understanding. We still have something in the neighborhood of $1 billion in work to be done across the district. I think given where the state of school districts are in California, these types of bonds and funding mechanisms are simply going to be necessary. It's not easy to go out and ask for. All of us pay our property taxes, but it's an investment in the district. So I think there's a lot more work to be done. I'd be interested in getting feedback and seeing where we are in terms of the projects that we've completed, because we did start with a list going back to 2008. I think we'll see that we've accomplished a lot, but what are the next phases that need to be accomplished? Where can we invest the remaining 80-some million dollars, and hopefully leverage that with state dollars that might be out there through state bonds to finish these projects and improve our school sites. So I look forward to that. Thank you.
Any other question? Thank you, gentlemen, so much. We do know that your committee work does take time, and we appreciate it very much. It helps us to be transparent in what's going on, and you are the voice of the community, and People listen and it helps us when you're helping us tell people that we are doing what we need to be doing for our kids. So thank you so much for all of the dedication to you and your committee.
Okay, and thank you to Superintendent Miranda and the entire board for what you do as well. So we're happy to here to support the district and do our part. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next items are the action session, items 5.1 through 5.57. Is there anyone who would like an item to be considered separately? This, okay. I will ask for a motion to approve action items 5.1 through 5.57 with the exception of items 5.32 and 5.39, which were withdrawn at the adoption of the agenda. Could I have a motion, please?
I'll second.
And that was Fuentes, right? Okay. I have a motion by Board Member Dan Flores and seconded by Board Member Fuentes to approve action items 5.1 through 5.57 with the exception of items 5.32 and 5.39, which were withdrawn at the adoption of the agenda. Call for a vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, nay. Any abstentions? So on a vote by Board Member Dan Flores and Board Member Fuentes and carried on a 5-0 vote, the board approved action items 5.1 through 5.57 with the exception of 5.32 and 5.39 that were withdrawn at the adoption of the agenda. Okay. We're now moving on to administrative reports. For administrative report 6.1 to 6.2, are there any questions or comments from board members? Okay. Item 6.3, facilities update. Director Chang, would you please come forward?
Good evening, Board President Joanne Thornton-Hada, Board Member Superintendent Miranda, members of the audience. Tonight I'd like to provide a board update on some of the projects that we're working on. Oh, okay, thanks. All right. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. I think we all feel the same way. This has been a quite of a busy summer, but can't believe I was just talking to my staff and it's feel like a blink of an eye and 2 weeks from now, students will be back on campus. But the good thing is when it's busy, time goes by quickly. So first up, just Bloomington High School path to travel upgrade. We've been doing some path to travel concrete ramp to make sure campers are compliant, adding new ramps, sidewalk. So that's the picture on the left is the fencing and the side walkway that's bordering the parking lot, the northeast portion of the campus, along some new additional fencing. So and some of these this is a minor project, but much needed improvements. So we're happy to get that done. So the contractor should be finishing up about a week or so. So we should be getting that work completed before the students return. Next project is the Grand Terrace High School auditorium, gym, and cafeteria roofing repair. I know it's been ongoing for a long time, so happy to report to the board. Give the board a update. Both the cafeteria and the gymnasium repair have been completed, and we're at about 90% complete for the auditorium replacement. And so we're just about we should be pretty much complete with the replacement before the end of July. So when students return, they'll have a brand new roof for the auditorium building. Next slide, please. All right. So this is another project. It's a curb appeal ADA upgrade project at Crestmore Elementary. On the left-hand side, you can see those are some of the new walkways. that's been replaced. I see the little picture on the upper right-hand corner in the cat corner of that. That was the existing walkway. There's a lot of offsets and just creates a lot of hazardous conditions. So we're happy to do those, replace the walkway for the students in the community. We're also providing new updated the code-compliant ADA parking stalls, as well as some of the just some rendering what ultimately it's going to look like. Their contractors are working hard in putting the formwork for some of the footing and foundation work. So that project's moving on well. So that project will go into September, into the new school year. But we're going to try to, try to get half the parking lot open just to minimize any interruption that's going to occur at the campus. So we're working closely with the site administrators and getting ready for both the staff and students return. Next slide, please. All right, Grand Terrace Elementary. A lot of things are happening at Grand Terrace Elementary. We are doing the campus fire alarm upgrade. Again, that project started right after students went on summer break in June, and we're scheduled to finish in early September. The contractor is actually making good progress, so we're actually a bit of ahead of schedule. Some of these are photos are showing some of the outdoor trenching pathways for the conduits and for the fire alarm system. And so while if you swing by there's a lot of open trenches, but everything will be closed up and ready for the students when they return. So obviously safety is the priority for all of us. At the bottom, Grand Terrace Elementary landscape demolition. So on the left photo shows before and the after, and the building is gone. We do have plan in the middle image illustrates what the design is for that area to replace the former Lion Scale building. So we have for create a kinder area and as well as some additional parking stalls for staff and visitors. So I think we all know, been around the area, parking is such a great need. And so we're happy to continue to work on this. Now, the planning, the new parking lot, we're still working with the architect on submitting it to the state for approval. So we're still about a couple months away from getting approval, but we wanted to really take advantage of the summer break too, because, demolition is such a disruptive activity with noise and so forth. So we want to take advantage of the summer break and get that work done. So just a little tidbit and so there's, even though it seems like a simple demolition project, there are various regulations that we need to adhere to. One is there's a federal bird migratory act. So we 3 days prior, we can't do it before then, 3 days. So within 3 days of starting demolition, we have to bring biologists out there to make sure there are no bird nesting on the tree. If there was, then we have to hold the construction until the migratory period. So when we brought out the biologists out there and they didn't see any evidence of that, so I was able to take a little sigh of relief. So it's just a little tidbit. Next slide, please. All right. We also been working on replacement of playground structures at these campuses. Lewis Elementary is actually under construction. Then we have Bernie, Rogers, San Salvador, and Terrace View. Those are recently approved by DSA, so we're working on a bid package to get those playground structures replaced within the next couple of months. So those are just some of the renderings provided by the vendor and what's to come. So we're excited to get that underway as well. Next slide, please. All right. So I want to thank the board for approving the ratification of the agreement. As we recall, we bid the project out a couple of months ago, and I think all of us, not just us, but the whole construction industry, we're seeing really unprecedented escalation in the construction costs, due to rise in costs with materials and shortage of labor. It's kind of seemed like the perfect storm. Although we've seen some of the prices that are some come down, they're still seeing a lot of continuing escalation. But I am happy to report that with the rebidding effort, some of the value engineering done with the architect, we're able, through our rebid effort, doing additional outreach, we're able to save 1.4 million from our rebidding effort. So we're happy to get that underway, and so it's something I'm very are proud of and honored to be part of the project. So next slide, please. All right, Ruth Grimes Elementary Shea Shelter Toilet Module Building Project. So that project is currently in bidding, and so we should have bid opening sometime in August, then followed by construction in September, October. And also California School Healthy Air Plumbing Efficiency Program. The board earlier approved the contract with a vendor for the assessment repair to HVAC unit at 15 schools that are certified in Southern California Edison. So this is a $1.3 million grant that we received. This is completely paid for out of the grant. So that will create healthy environment, air conditioning for our students. So we're happy to get that underway as well. And so I just want to kind of clarify the reason why. Now, this program is funded by a utility company. So Southern California Edison, they still have money left to pay for this program. And the city of Colton, the reason why the city of Colton school didn't qualify is those programs are run by Southern California Edison, and they ran out of money currently. Now, while we did receive approval for those schools, we have to wait for them to collect enough revenue in order to pay for that program. So in the meantime, we're proceeding with the Southern California Edison schools for the 15 sites. All right. Next slide, please. All right. Just to end my presentation, a quick update on the Professional Learning Center boardroom at 900 Washington. So this project was supposed to be finished by now, but we're just, as I mentioned, we just like many other projects, we're still experiencing some equipment shortage with HVAC, electrical panels, and so forth. But we're doing what we can to mitigate and still trying to get the project finished as quickly as we can. We're making some good headways. These are some of the progress photos, like to updates and like to update the board. On the left is the interior shot looking at the dais. On the right-hand side, we have the main server room. Eventually, that's going to be the main, the district, kind of the brain center at the 900 building. Also, we're working on some wall finishes in the toilet room. On the bottom, we're continuing to work on finishing the AV infrastructure and also sealing various finishes for some of the various areas, one of which is the breakout conference room. So next slide, please. And that concludes my update. So any questions?
I have a couple.
Oh, Mrs. Harrell.
The Grand Terrace High School pool, I know that we got some updates in board correspondence. Can you tell us where we are with that?
Sure. We are actually, we did bid out originally, but we received a bid that was extremely high. We thought it wasn't warranted. I think we're trying to get gouged. So we're working with our consultant to rebid that project. So we should go back on the street in early August, in first week of August. So we're going to put that back on the street to rebid. There's some measures that we're taking to hopefully we get some more contractors that will participate, because usually with more competition, you get a better pricing. And on another front, I have to be careful what I'm saying because we are in active litigation. So we do have a lawsuit filed against the original biller. So we're trying to find a solution from through the legal means also. So we're approaching both ends at this point. So we do have a mediation schedule end of this month. So we'll have more to report to the board after the.
So do we foresee, it sounds like, is this pool going to be ready for this school year? I know the swim season isn't it kind of towards the end of the school year?
Right. I believe the school, the swim season starts around middle of March.
Right.
So there is still a possibility that we could finish before the start of the season. But some of the practice will probably have to be done in a remote facility, but there's still a possibility that the pool can be repaired before the start of the next swim season.
All right, thank you. Also, Crestmore, I know you said that that's not going to be done, obviously, for the beginning of school. And that's in the front of the school, correct, where we're doing this? How is that going to impact, like, I know that's where the buses come through, and that's where the kindergarten is, where the parents drop their kids off for kindergarten. Are the buses still going to be able to get through there? Are the parents, kindergarten, they want to walk in with their kids on the first day of school, and are they going to be able to have access?
Right, we're gonna, the original, the normal access where they kind of go up the ramp next to the planter, so that's not gonna be complete by then. But there's gonna be side access, those are gonna be available, and also the driveway that's closest to Rupa, we're gonna open that up, so that will be available for a parent drop off.
Okay.
There's gonna be a little inconvenience, but just the amount of work, unfortunately, it just takes a lot longer than we have.
And I'm sorry, how long did you say, how much longer this one was going to be?
But we're looking at about middle of September to finish.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Any other questions? Bertha?
Okay, I have the same questions that Board Member Haro had with the Lions Club demolition. It will go into the new school year? Is that what you said?
Oh, no, actually, we're doing, we're on schedule. The Lions Club demolition is essentially complete. So we're just rerouting some utilities and so forth. So we will keep the fence up because we don't have the parking new design approved yet. But we will keep the fencing just to keep the perimeter secure and also an area kind of, cordoned off for the safety of students. But the building is essentially complete, so.
So it won't affect the traffic picking up and dropping off?
Right now. Yeah,
Okay. Okay, and also on the playground, the Grimes Shades Shelters, do we have like a list of other schools, or are we done for this school year as far as providing more shelters for other school sites?
Yeah, as far as shade shelter, we're actually utilizing ESSER funding to pay for the shade shelter at Grimes, but so that's ESSER 2, but we are at ESSER 3. We're also looking at that to ESSER 3 for some additional shade shelter and pavilions that we're working on, which will update the board in the coming months. So
okay,
on some projects. So ESSER 3, the deadline for that is September 30th of 2024. So we do have a couple of other sites we're working on as well. So.
okay, thank you. And then I'm just curious with the playground equipment, are wood chips, are rubber surfaces replacing wood chips, or are they still being used?
Oh, that's a great question. We actually, as part of our replacement, we're actually replacing it with a rubberized surface. So we're transitioning away from the wood chip into a rubberized surface.
Yeah, thank you. And your department has been very busy, so thank you for all your hard work.
All right, thank you.
Oh, and one more question. When you said that about the rubberized, those surfaces don't get warm for the kids?
That's a good question. They do get warm. There's pros and cons to each, but I think in the consideration of the maintenance and so forth and the labor and maintain the costs and so forth, we decided that was.
I can see where the maintenance definitely, because if you have like chips in your garden or whatever, they go everywhere. But I just was wondering how hot those rubber surfaces are going to get for the kids in this 100-degree weather. Okay, thank you.
I do know that we had at my school, and they did get warm, but we also had issues prior to another school where those wood chips got in kids' eyes, and that's really dangerous. So when you look at that, I think that's a much safer thing to do. And it sure is a lot easier for kids to fall on that than in those wood chips, because cats visit the wood chips too. That's pretty yucky. Dan.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Just a note on the Grand Terrace, or excuse me, well, yeah, it's Grand Terrace Elementary, but the old Lions Club building. You gotta love social media. There was a lot of speculation, sort of what was going on there. I saw on social media. Hey, what's going there? I think this, I think that. Maybe if there's a way that we could share information through our official means, just maybe an update, and whether maybe we partner with the city if they have a page, just to share officially what is going on. It's great to have a visual. I think this visual of the parking lot is great, just sort of to put to bed any speculation or questions. I don't think any of it was necessarily negative, but there was a lot of speculation about what was going on and who owned the property and what was going to happen there and who's going to build what. And you know, social media, once the ball gets rolling, yeah. So if we could set the record straight, so to speak, that would be great. So Ms. Katie, if you could work with Owen's department to do that, that'd be great. Thanks.
Owen, I appreciate you saying that, what you did about the Department of School Housing, needing to approve every little thing that we do, because I think that's part of the frustration on your part, not being, if we were to post this and then we can't put it the way it is because they won't approve it, then we've got an issue. So I mean, it's still sensitive. I understand that. But I do appreciate all that they've done. I was amazed. I saw the day it started coming down and all of a sudden it was gone. It was so quick. But then I saw that social media too about all the trucks outside. Yeah, it's got a little comical, but I want you to know that we know how hard you're working and getting everything done. And I think it's important for people to understand that, especially in school business, you have to have a permission to do everything. I mean, you gave us a great example, and I appreciate you doing that. So we are making big gains on things that we're doing, but it takes forever to get Sacramento to move on anything. So thank you so much. The roof at Grand Terrace High School, I think people, if you do put something in there, we might put down that kind of the rationale. People are saying, why aren't they doing anything? And we know why, but maybe we can put a little blurb in there so they understand that as well, because that's been a big, why is it taking so long? You mentioned even the legal things. So I think people need to understand that we're trying to be spend our money cautiously and trying to recoup money that maybe we shouldn't have had to spend because of things that have happened. But appreciate that too. I think what Dan said about informing the community is real important when we're able to tell them things that where they won't come back and say, why did you say you were going to do this? And we can't, well, because the state says we have to do something else. I think that communication piece is really important. Sure. So thank you for bringing that up, Dan, but I think it's good to kind of explain it in an easier way, but that people would understand that we're trying really hard. I know we've waited a long time for that roof in the auditorium, so thank you. You guys are doing an amazing job, and we know that, but we are here, and now people out there don't understand. And I want to thank Mr. Fromm's department for all the calls that I made about an alarm system that kept going off and going off and going off, and it wasn't our school, it was a neighboring business. And so thank you for your guys out there all the time, but I think it's good for the community to know that we do follow up. If you have a concern, you call the school, just call the school first, but call the district if you have an issue, because it can't get solved if we don't know there's a problem. So I really do appreciate all the hard work you guys did in solving that problem. So thank you, Owen. I know you're doing an amazing job. Appreciate that. Anything else? Okay, thank you. We have an ACE update? No, that's on vacation. CSEA. Oh.
Good evening, Board President Thorin Ojeda, board members, Superintendent Dr. Miranda, and members of the audience. My name is David Espinosa. I am the Sergeant at Arms at CSEA Chapter 244 Colton. I would like to start by expressing gratitude for this opportunity to speak on behalf of CSEA Chapter 244. We look forward to another school year working together to support and serve the students and families of the collective communities that CJUSD represents. We anticipate continued collaboration with CJUSD management and certificated staff as we continue to provide the invaluable support that is fundamental to the success of our students, staff, and all stakeholders. CJUSD classified members have been busy behind the scenes this summer, as we have every summer preceding this one, readying our schools, satellite offices, and admin offices in preparation for the instructional year to begin. Grounds, maintenance, nutrition services, custodial staff, secretarial staff, security, transportation, other support staff, and IT do not stop when the school year ends. If anything, that is the time when things ramp up in the few short weeks of summer. I would like to take this time to thank the Board of Education and Executive Cabinet for their continued support in the development and enhancement of our classified staff members. On top of our daily duties, classified staff members have been provided the opportunities to participate in various leadership activities that we anticipate will continue to develop classified leaders within CJUSD. We had members attend this leadership retreat to Gettysburg, which was the final event of a year-long commitment to the leadership development seminars. We were invited to send representatives to the annual leadership summit, which took place yesterday. We have members on various committees which are dedicated to the continued growth and improvement of CJUSD as a whole. We look forward to continued inclusion in these opportunities, as we are not only employees of the district, but are also members of the communities that CJUSD serves. On behalf of CSEA Chapter 244 Colton, I respectfully thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you so much. We are now at item 6.7. Mrs. Harrow, do you have an update?
We did have a meeting, and it was although our superintendent's last day is July 31st, it was her last meeting, and I want to thank Dr. Miranda for coming to say goodbye to Tracy. It was, and also Callie Binks went. It was like a comedy routine between the two of them, but it was really nice that both of them came to say goodbye to her and to thank her for everything she's done for us. It was a great meeting, and they were honoring and talking about all of the things to come for the next school year. So I look forward to, Dr. Engel looks forward to working with Colton. I'll say, especially Colton, because he has a lot of friends here. So that's a good thing for us. So he's looking forward to that. So that was our meeting. It wasn't a very long meeting. It was mostly all about Tracy.
That's nice. Thank you for sharing. Okay, item superintendent's communique.
Thank you, Board President. Oh, that's loud.
Oh, there's nothing. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I had no, it says no. Oh, okay, that's why I skipped over it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. No worries. No worries. Good evening, Board President, board members, and everybody's out there. Wow, can you believe it? We are back here pretty soon. First day of school is August 3rd. So any family, anybody in the community listening, we expect you back first day, back at school every day. We need you back. We welcome you back. Just want to throw that out there. So we are preparing. You heard David speak about the preparation of the schools, and that is so true. So we are so excited for another school year, for the 23-24 school year. On that note, next slide, if you don't mind, Brandon. I want to talk about, and David mentioned this, the Classified Professional Development Day. And again, kudos to Human Resources just hosting this at Joe Baca Middle School. It was all day professional development for our classified staff there. And the event was very well attended. It was a full packed house of classified staff and managers. And of course, I was there. The classified staff received some tremendous training from the Google Suite to account codes to customer service. Human Resources staff did an amazing job of facilitating the day of learning. Everything went so well and so great. Again, thank you to Dr. Dade and his staff. I know that he doesn't do it alone, and he has an amazing HR staff and now a classified director that is leading that and managing that. So we just want to thank all the classified professionals who attended, and it was just an amazing day last week. Again, next slide, please. We are extremely excited of this program that we are offering this year and piloting it. The early college program, a couple of weeks ago, and led by Dr. Mooney and his secondary education, and Educational Services hosted a parent meeting at Bloomington High School to kick off the first early college program that will be offered to our students. Bloomington High School students will be able to apply and participate in the program where they can earn college credit during high school and potentially graduate high school with an associate's degree. That is just amazing. So just a pilot there. We plan on expanding it. The program will begin this fall at Bloomington High School with the intent to expand, like I said, at the other high schools coming in the next year or so. So a special thank you again to Dr. Mooney, Director of our Secondary, he's our Director of our Secondary Education, along with Dr. Peterson and her diligence and collaboration with Valley College to bring the programs to the district. We met with the leadership at Valley College. Thanks to Ms. Flores there, who helped us organize that meeting. And from that, we have this program now starting. And so I know that that's just huge for our district, giving our students this opportunity. And so final slide. Again, the district's busy on its way, preparing for the first day of school. You heard the wonderful presentation from our amazing director, Owen Chang, and all the projects that are happening globally in our district. So I want to take this opportunity to just give a shout out also to our maintenance and operations department. They don't get a lot of credit, but you've seen that transformation there. I'll tell you, over the past summer, M&O has been working so hard on all the projects throughout the school district, making our school districts clean and green, as we're calling it, right? That's the theme of the year for M&O, clean and green. You'll hear more about that. So the projects include floor repairs, new pavement, new secure reception areas, upgrades to the playground areas. If you haven't seen the Sycamore Playground, I'll tell you, it is amazing, and our kids are loving it. There's nothing better for our kids than great playgrounds and beautiful playgrounds. And those are on our Facebook, social media pages if you follow us at www.CJUSD. And, so I just, on behalf of the board and executive cabinet, I want to thank our M&O folks. Again, they don't get a lot of the credit. They get a lot of the complaints. Just for what they're doing this year for our schools, and I know they're working really hard. And their leader, they're led by Director Bell, who is just out there taking care of business and doing his job for our students and serving our students well. And it's just the transformation that you see is pretty incredible. And of course, Greg Fromm, the Assistant Superintendent of Business. And there's nothing that I tell them, we got to do this, Greg. Let's go. Let's do it. So appreciate that. Again, the M&O team, thank you for all your hard work this summer preparing our schools, because we know that really matters. So again, clean and green is what we're saying. So that's what we want our schools to look like. So with that, again, August 3rd, first day of school, we need everybody back, 100% attendance, not 99%. We expect 100% of our students to come back and be here every single day. And we were going to keep saying that like a broken record. We're going to communicate that. I'm going to say it more than 19 times that we learned about communication. We're going to say it until everybody gets tired of hearing Dr. Miranda say, be at school. And I will go get you guys if you are not there. So trust me, I'll be there knocking on your doors. We want you to come back to school and get a great education. We are making things happen, and we look forward to a great 23-24 school year. So thank you very much. Back to you, Board President.
Thank you so much. Item 8.1, board member comments. We'll start with Mrs. Harrell.
Just real quick, I had already planned on saying, thank you to our M&O department for everything they're doing. And thank you, Katie, for, I know you've been busy posting all about like summer school and things that were happening at the schools, but I was really enjoying seeing all of the things that M&O has been doing to the sites. I think it's really important that we push that out there, that we are taking care of the sites during the summer. Because if you talk to people out in the street, they think, oh, they think the school district, when school's out, that everybody goes home. They think the district office closes. They think everybody stops working because it's summer break. They don't realize that people are still working. And especially our hardworking M&O to prepare our classrooms, for the next school year. And I did get a lot of comments. Everybody saw the Sycamore one, and they want to know when are the other sites getting that, because it was that drone shot of how it looked. That was fabulous. Everybody went nuts over that, and so they want to know when is theirs happening. And I mean, but it just shows. I was happy to see that because it shows what others that we are not closed during the summer, and so I think that was great. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. And I had just one comment, and I wanted to see what the board thought about it. Is I know that as a board member, I take, we all take our job seriously, but sometimes we get ill and we have to miss a meeting, or, there's a death in the family and you have to miss a meeting. And my question, and after when I miss I personally, and I know the others probably do as well, after I miss a meeting, before the meeting, I still read the agenda to see what's happening. And then after the board meeting, I go back in board docs and see what happened after at the meeting, what the things happened. But we don't post closed session information for legal reasons. And I'm wondering if it's possible if we can get an update as a board member who, if you've missed a meeting, we can get an update, a synopsis of what happened in closed session, because otherwise we don't know what happened. We don't know we hired a principal for this school or who that, we don't know any of that because we don't get so I'm wondering if that is something that we could possibly do. It doesn't have to be long and drawn out, but just something so that we know what happened at the meeting for those who, if we need a consensus to do that. But I just think it would be helpful for all of us to stay on task as far as that we know what's going on. And and then my last comment is I would like to ask respectfully of the board, our very first energy manager that we had here when we got solar was Ernie Guillen. And Ernie was wonderful, wonderful person who worked here for us in Colton for many, many years until he retired. And unfortunately, when Ernie retired, his health wasn't what it could be, but he was a wonderful man who gave many, many years to Colton. And I would like to ask if we could have a moment of silence at the end of our board meeting. Yes. Thank you. Yes, that's certainly, we do that. Next, Mrs. Flores.
Well, first of all, I would just like to, again, thank Dr. Peterson and Dr. Mooney for this excellent program that we're starting at Bloomington High School this year. To have our ninth graders come in and with the ability of taking classes and leaving as high school seniors with their AA is huge. And I know you guys work so fast and so hard with the partnership with San Bernardino Valley College that I'm just very, very impressed with the work you have done. So thank you for that. And we're looking forward to, again, expanding in other schools. So to me, it was just like amazing to offer this to our students. The other thing is, Frank mentioned to me a few days ago, the clean and green. I love that from M&O. Clean and green is like that simple. That's what we want. That's what they're all about. So going back a few years to today, there's been a tremendous improvement in our fields, our playgrounds. Everything is just, it shows that M&O has worked very, very hard. So I want to congratulate them also. Again, another thing, a few years ago, our air conditioners at the first day or first week of school, we had a lot of calls saying, we have a classroom with 36 graders and a teacher and in a bungalow with no windows. And it's like, oh my God, it does impact learning. So, but again, that was a few years ago. Last year, we only had a handful. And I don't know, I think you explained this, Frank, but I know that we're replacing something in our air conditioners that has really helped that. So again, that problem is non-existent, and we're hoping that we don't have a lot of breakdown air conditioners. So, okay, that's it. That's all I have. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Flores. Mr. Fuentes.
Thank you, Board President. I want to ditto what Bertha just said about the early college program. I wish I had that when I was in high school. I told my daughters about it, and they were like, "Darn, can I go back to high school?" I'm kidding. They were excited to hear that program was coming to Bloomington High School as a pilot program, and I know both my daughters actually did early college. What is that called? Dual enrollment. With Valley College, and Valley College has always been supportive of our students, and I want to thank them for that also. Also, yesterday we were at the management retreat at Grand Terrace High School, and thank you to Principal Neighbors for hosting us out there. It was just a great dialogue, a great event. Banana, bandana. Remember the difference, okay? For those that were there. Dr. Dale Marsden talked about building a culture of excellence, and he did very well. It was part two, so if you didn't get a chance to go to part one, to some of our management, part two was excellent also. So just want to thank Dr. Marsden and for bringing that to our management team, and it was a great dialogue, great information, great. We got to see a lot of things that we can do better. Broken record. The broken record, the follow-ups, the communication, all of that. And I think CJUSD with our DSDP plan, our design plan, we're going to that next level. And I see a lot of exciting things happening with the projects that are happening, the new school that's coming to Bloomington, the relocation of Zimmerman Elementary. All those things are very positive things for our communities. When you walk onto some of these campuses, wow, what a difference from what they were 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. Beautiful campuses, they're looking great. I want to also thank M&O for keeping the schools clean and green. They look beautiful as I walk into some of the restrooms that we have remodeled and stuff. I think our students are coming into some exciting days of going to school. I know that COVID, 2 years and a half of being cooped up at home and not coming to school, a lot of things have changed, but we're doing positive things to help our students, in their education. And by keeping our schools clean and green, keeping our morale positive in our schools, that helps our students. Our nutrition, to even if the room was just got painted with the new murals that are out there. I've seen all these great murals at the schools, the elementary schools, all of that. That's just, it's exciting to see. And so I'm always excited when I get out to visit some of the schools and to see the smiles, to see the kids out there playing on these beautiful playgrounds that we have out there. Sycamore, man, I saw that shot of the drone picture. Beautiful. And hopefully soon all our schools will look like that. So excited to see that, excited for a new school year. And well, that's all I have this evening. Just if you're still on vacation, enjoy it. If you're back at the office, enjoy it. We're all back at the office, and like Ms. Harrow said, we're working all year long. We don't take a break. We work all year long because we want to make sure that our students, when they come back to school and when they're in school, they're receiving that quality of education that CJUSD offers. Keep it clean and green, everybody. Have a great one.
Thank you, Mr. Fuentes. Mr. Flores.
Just again, want to thank everybody for all the great work. Speaking of air conditioners, we're probably I'm throwing holy water and lighting candles, making sure mine can make it through this heat because it's been rough, but hang in there. But great job getting our schools ready. I'm sure We'll be excited. We'll see if the kids will be excited. Mine are still in denial, but I keep reminding them it's around the corner. Thank you, Pat, for mentioning Ernie. He was our first energy manager in the district, and prior to that, he had many years with us. And he was a wonderful employee, just a good man all around. And we'll certainly miss him in our thoughts and prayers with his family, who we're thinking about him and thinking about them in this time. And then last, I just want to thank the board for the last session that we had on board evaluation, the self-evaluation. I know we joke a lot about all the extra board meetings and special meetings, but this one really is important. And as we look around and read the newspaper and see online articles and pictures of sheriff's deputies at school board meetings escorting people out and all the nonsense going on, it's a reminder that we are fortunate to have a school board, administration, and a community that really is in sync, working towards the goal, which is a great educational system for all of our kids. We don't see much of the political banter going back and forth. And while I think we'll all agree that we don't agree on everything, I know that I can look across the dais at every single board member today, including those aren't here, and say, I believe you're here for the right reasons. That makes a big difference. It's not politics. It's not positioning yourself for the next run or the next seat or the next election. It is, you're here to do what's right for the kids in this district. And so it makes it a lot easier to agree to disagree, or if a vote goes my way or doesn't go my way, I'm okay with that because I believe everybody's here for the right reasons. And I thank you for that. I really do. So thank you.
Thank you. I have a couple of comments tonight. First of all, those of you sitting in the audience, welcome back. I hope you had a restful and relaxing time off because it's over. I know how hard you're working getting things ready for our kids, and we do appreciate that as a board. I wanted to say that to you yesterday, but I could not be there. But hopefully I'll make it next year, with God willing. I want to say thank you. I will say thank you to Dr. Peterson and Dr. Mooney. I went to the presentation and Dr. Mooney, I could tell you were a teacher. You did a really good job explaining to parents the step-by-step process, and all your visuals were so easy to understand. I don't think anyone left there not understanding what they had to do to be successful in that program. And that wasn't easy to do. You could tell there was a great deal of planning. I know, like Mrs. Flores said, it was very quick, that you had the turnaround in getting that done with Valley College. But it was amazing. And I really appreciate that. I'm really excited for kids. I'm one of those that wish that my grandchildren could have had that when they went to school. Not only a time saving, but just the financial saving is huge for families, especially if you've got more than one, a few children going to school. I'm excited to see how many kids will have enroll and finish the program. So thank you for all your hard work, and we look forward to great results. A few years ago, I was probably his biggest thorn in his side when it came to schools being ready. And he hasn't heard a thing from me this year except, wow, things look great out there. M&O departments work so hard in getting everything done, and I appreciate that so much. I know the entire board works, and I appreciate that. When I was reading board correspondence and saw that M&O's offices were getting a kind of a facelift, I was excited for that too, because they worked hard, and it's nice to have a nice place to go and let them know how much we value the work that they do. And I'm grateful that we're able to do that. So anybody out there in M&O, thank you, thank you, thank you. I know you guys probably work harder than anybody over the summer because you have so much to do when the kids aren't there, and we can get a lot of things finished at schools. Having the schools ready, kids come to school, a lot of our kids, and I didn't realize this until I was in a principal, not even as a teacher so much, but some of our kids come to school because it's clean, it's safe, it's nice, and there's a lot of security there. When you come to school and have a nice place and they learn how to take care of things that are nice, we're really doing a service to those kids, and they feel safe and comfortable, and the environment is a great place to learn. But I was thinking about the playgrounds when we were talking, when I saw that information on Sycamore. A lot of my children from the school that I was at, a couple of schools I was at, parents would say, my kids can't play outside at home because it's not really safe. And I think that's becoming more and more of an issue with what's happening in our society. So our playgrounds are a place for kids, maybe in 20 minutes at a time, they can go play when they really don't get to do that a whole lot at home. And that's so important and critical for kids, especially with social media. A lot of the kids in 5th and 6th grade is like, it's not cool to be playing on a playground. But if they don't have their phones, they're learning how to do that. Then they're learning how to communicate, because with social media, they're not getting a lot of social interaction. And I think that's another reason we want our playgrounds to be great. So thank you, Dr. Miranda, for making that possible, having our playgrounds improved, and doing more and more to have a fun place for the kids to be, and a clean place and a really nice place, and a shady place in some places. I think that's exciting. So I wish everyone, and those of you who are at home, you'll be back soon, but I'm looking forward to a wonderful beginning of this school year. And with that, we will have a moment of silence for Mr. Guillen. I understand he was an amazing man. I did meet him, but I didn't really know him. But I feel I'm grateful that we're able to close this in memory of him and all the service he gave to this school district, because he was a wonderful man. And I have prayers out for his family in this time of loss. So we'll have a moment of silence, please. With that, meeting is adjourned. Israel Fuentes, and Joanne Thorning Ojeda. Do we need to put absence on there? Okay. Item 10.2, Personnel Public Employee Appointment Discipline Dismissal Release, Government Code 54957. On a motion by Board Members Dan Flores and seconded by Board Member Fuentes and carried on a 5-0 vote, the board approved the following. Personnel Public Employee Appointment, Government Code 54957. Certificated Coaching 1, Head Varsity Tennis Girls. Certificated Regular Staff 6. Speech Therapist 2. Naval Science Instructor. SDC Moderate Severe Teacher 2. Elementary Teacher. Classified Management 3. Clinical Therapist 2. And Communication Specialist. Classified Coaching 7. Head Junior Varsity Wrestling Boys. Head Varsity Soccer Boys. Head Varsity Volleyball Girls. Head Varsity Wrestling Girls. Varsity Football Assistant Boys 3. Volunteer Coaching 2. Volleyball Girls 2. Volunteer General 5. Item 10.3, Personnel Public Employee Appointment Discipline Dismissal Release, Government Code 54957. And in closed session on a motion by Board Member Fuentes and seconded by Board Member Dan Flores and carried on a 5-0 vote, the board took action to approve the resignation agreement and general release of EIN 2606. Item 10.4, Personnel Public Employee Appointment Discipline Dismissal Release, Government Code 54957. In closed session on a motion by Board Member Bertha Flores and seconded by Board Member Fuentes, the board took action to suspend classified employee with EIN 12392 without pay pursuant to Education Code 44939 and to authorize the administration to issue a 30-day notice of dismissal in accordance with Education Code Section 44934 and directed the superintendent or designee to send out appropriate legal notices. The roll call vote was as follows. I, Haro, Bertha Flores, Dan Flores, Israel Fuentes, and Joanne Thorning Ojeda. And that's all we have for tonight, so the meeting is adjourned.